Picture a snowy Boston street, the air biting with winter's chill, where a little boy shivers barefoot in the snow, his small hands clutching a tattered scarf. His blue eyes, filled with quiet resilience, scan the bustling crowd, ignored by passers-by wrapped in warm coats. Then, a sleek Bentley pulls over, and a millionaire steps out, his sharp gaze locking onto the boy. He takes off his cashmere coat, drapes it over the child's trembling shoulders, and says, "You're coming with me." What could leave a boy shoeless in a freezing winter? Why would a wealthy stranger, known for his guarded heart, stop to help? This is a story of survival, compassion, and a moment that changes lives forever. You're about to hear a tale so gripping, so emotional, it'll leave you breathless. Stick around for the incredible journey of Noah, James Thornton, and a single act that defies all odds. Hit play, and let's dive into a story that'll tug at your heartstrings and warm your soul. Hey, everyone! Welcome back to the channel, where we share stories that hit you right in the heart, spark hope, and remind you of the power of human kindness. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button and join our vibrant community of story lovers. We're thrilled to have you. Today, we're diving into a tale that feels like it's straight out of a winter epic, but it's real, raw, and profoundly moving. It's about Noah, a 7-year-old boy facing a brutal Boston winter with no shoes, his heart heavy with survival, James Thornton, a millionaire with a guarded soul, and a moment that turned their lives upside down. This isn't just about wealth or hardship, it's about compassion, redemption, and the courage to rewrite a broken story in an instant. Let's meet James Thornton. At 47, he's a biotech mogul in Boston, a man whose name is synonymous with innovation and power. Worth over $450 million, James lives in a Beacon Hill mansion, a stunning blend of historic charm and modern luxury with oak-paneled libraries, a private wine cellar, and views of the Charles River. His life is a showcase of success: bespoke suits from London, exclusive dinners at Boston's finest restaurants, and a reputation for being brilliant but distant. Behind the polished exterior, James is a solitary figure. Widowed 5 years ago, with no children, he's poured his life into Thornton Biotech, building walls around his heart. His staff, drivers, chefs, assistants, run his life like clockwork, but he barely knows their names, their faces fading into the background of his high-stakes world of medical research and acquisitions. Now, let's meet Noah. He's a 7-year-old with messy brown hair, blue eyes that hold a quiet strength, and a smile that rarely surfaces, hiding a world of struggle. Noah lives with his uncle, Ray, in a dilapidated apartment in Roxbury, a neighborhood where hope is scarce. Ray, his guardian since Noah's parents died in a fire 3 years ago, is a struggling laborer battling alcoholism, barely able to provide for Noah. Noah's days are spent scavenging to survive, his nights filled with cold and fear, clutching a tattered scarf his mother knitted, his only link to her. His greatest wish is to have warmth, to escape the streets, but Ray's neglect leaves him barefoot in winter's snow. Ray's occasional work as a janitor near one of James's office buildings, a sleek biotech hub in Cambridge, brings him into James's orbit, but James has never noticed Noah, who sometimes tags along, shivering on street corners. To James, Ray is just another worker, his struggles invisible. Noah, in his threadbare sweater, blends into the city's chaos, unnoticed by the crowds. But Noah isn't invisible to everyone. Sarah, a food cart vendor near James's building, notices him, how he's too quiet for a 7-year-old, how his feet are bare in the snow, how his eyes light up when she sneaks him a hot pretzel. Sarah senses something's wrong but doesn't know the full story. James, consumed by his biotech empire, is oblivious to Noah's existence, let alone his suffering. That is, until one freezing afternoon, a moment that will shatter his world and force him to act. Let's dive into the problem that set the stage for this life-changing encounter. Noah's life was a daily battle against a world too harsh for his young heart. At 7, he should have been building snowmen or reading adventure books, but instead, he was surviving. Ray, his uncle, was a broken man, his life consumed by alcoholism and grief after taking Noah in when his parents died in a fire. Their Roxbury apartment was a cramped, frigid space with cracked walls, a leaking roof, and a single mattress on the floor. The neighborhood was rough, gangs on corners, sirens at night, and Noah learned to stay quiet, to avoid trouble, to blend into the shadows. Hunger was a constant ache, his meals often just scraps from Sarah's food cart, a pretzel, a half-eaten sandwich, or nothing at all. Ray's neglect left Noah without proper clothes, his feet bare in Boston's brutal winter, the snow stinging his skin as he scavenged for food or coins. He'd stand on street corners near James's building, clutching his mother's tattered scarf, his blue eyes pleading for help as passers-by ignored him. Sarah, the food cart vendor, took a shine to him, noticing his bare feet, his threadbare sweater, the way he'd shiver uncontrollably. She suspected neglect, his hunger, his lack of shoes, but lacked proof. Ray's drinking made him dismissive, leaving Noah to fend for himself, his heart heavy with cold and loneliness. James, meanwhile, was a world away. His Beacon Hill mansion was a fortress of solitude, its oak-paneled rooms a testament to his wealth but not his warmth. He was a man of routine, his life a carefully orchestrated dance of boardroom deals and biotech breakthroughs. His wife's death 5 years ago had left him guarded, his heart sealed by his empire. Thornton Biotech was his legacy, a giant that shaped Boston's medical landscape. His staff were invisible to him, their lives irrelevant. When his property manager mentioned issues with workers like Ray, unreliable labor, complaints about loitering, James dismissed it. Deal with it, he'd say, his mind on a $300 million acquisition. Noah's existence, Ray's struggles, none of it registered. But Noah's situation was growing dire. Ray's drinking worsened, leaving Noah to scavenge longer in the snow, risking frostbite and illness. One freezing afternoon, Noah stood barefoot on a street corner, shivering, his scarf no match for the wind. James, passing by after a meeting, saw him, took off his coat, and said, "You're coming with me." The breaking point came on that snowy Boston afternoon, the city blanketed in white, the air biting. Noah, alone and barefoot, shivered uncontrollably, his voice silent but his eyes pleading. James, leaving his office, saw him and acted, his heart racing at the sight of Noah, small and freezing. James didn't know Noah, didn't know his story, but the boy's bare feet in the snow hit like a thunderbolt, stirring a compassion he hadn't felt in years. Who was this boy, and why was he shoeless in a winter storm? Let's go back to understand how this moment unfolded, and what James did next to change everything. To grasp the full weight of that moment on the snowy street corner, we need to rewind to Noah's life before that freezing afternoon. He was born to parents who loved him but perished in a fire when he was 4, leaving him with Ray, his uncle. Ray, a 38-year-old laborer battling alcoholism, took Noah in out of duty, but his grief and addiction made him an unfit guardian. Their Roxbury apartment was a crumbling space, its cracked walls leaking cold air, its roof dripping, its single mattress offering no comfort. Noah grew up with his mother's tattered scarf, a knitted relic she made before the fire, his only link to her warmth, whispering to it about a life where he was warm and safe. Noah was a quiet child, his blue eyes bright with a resilience that life hadn't crushed. He loved stories, imagining adventures where he was a hero, warm and fed. He'd scavenge for food, finding scraps in alleys, but hunger and cold were constant. Ray's drinking left Noah alone, his feet bare in winter, his sweater too thin. The neighborhood was dangerous, gangs, fights, sirens, and Noah stayed small to avoid trouble. When Ray worked as a janitor near James's biotech hub, Noah tagged along, standing on corners with his scarf, his bare feet numb in the snow. Sarah, the food cart vendor, became his ally, noticing his shivering frame, his bare feet, the way he'd light up at a pretzel. She suspected neglect but lacked proof, and Ray's dismissal shut down her questions. James, meanwhile, was a man of precision, his life a curated empire. His wife's death had left him wary, his mansion a showcase of wealth but not warmth. Thornton Biotech was his focus, a giant that defined Boston. When issues arose with workers like Ray, he dismissed them, his mind on a $300 million deal. He didn't know Noah existed, didn't know a child was freezing nearby. But Noah's world was crumbling. Ray's neglect left him barefoot in the snow, risking illness. That afternoon, James saw him, took off his coat, and acted, ensuring his safety with a social worker and support for Ray. That moment on the snowy street corner was a turning point. Noah's shivering form, barefoot in the snow, shattered James's detachment. Sarah explained Ray's neglect and Noah's struggle, stirring James's compassion. He called a social worker to place Noah in a safe foster home that day, ensuring warmth and care, and funded Ray's rehab. James didn't stop there. He hired a lawyer to secure Noah's protection and visited him, bringing shoes, clothes, and books, promising, "You're safe now." Noah, hesitant but hopeful, began to trust him. He petitioned to become his guardian, and the court approved, welcoming Noah into his mansion, where his presence brought life to its silent halls. Noah's story is about more than a millionaire's rescue, it's about the power of one moment to change a life. James found purpose in Noah's resilience, becoming his guardian and turning his mansion into a home filled with warmth. Ray, in rehab, visits regularly, rebuilding his bond with Noah. James, once solitary, is now a father figure, cherishing Noah's smiles. Today, Noah is a thriving 8-year-old, his laughter echoing through the mansion. James funds a foundation for homeless children, inspired by Noah's courage. This story shows that compassion can rewrite futures, that one act can warm a child's heart. If Noah's story moved you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs hope. Subscribe and ring the bell for more inspiring stories. Drop a comment. Have you ever witnessed an act of kindness that changed a life? We'd love to hear your story. Let's spread compassion together. See you in the next video.